All right, welcome back to the channel. So Deontay Wilder gets blasted by Bernard Hopkins over claims that his water was spiked. This took place in an interview between Bernard Hopkins and Marcus Villegas on Fight Hub. And man, it really does. I think that Bernard Hopkins makes a really, really good point. But at the same time, it's pretty clear that he hasn't really stayed up on the news. But let's talk about that because I do think it has a lot of relevance to what's going to go on between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury moving forward when this third fight most definitely happens. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back. So Bernard Hopkins was asked about excuses or accusations that he made about or toward Tyson Fury as it relates to the last fight that those guys had back in February of 2020. Now, last year, man, it's so fast. It'll be a year, I do believe, in February from the last time that these guys fought. And it has been like a nonstop conversation in boxing going on about that fight. Now, a lot of that obviously has to do with the fact that immediately after that fight or not too long after that fight, the world basically entered into a lockdown because of this pandemic that's going on. But, I think that it's been a good conversation because it's really helped put a spotlight on a lot of the things that are really wrong with the sport of boxing. There really is rampant cheating going on in boxing. We've known this for a while, whether it be the steroids or whether it be, people saying it about judges or what have you. It's just something that I think we could agree. And even if one person may disagree about whether or not, we may disagree about whether or not Deontay Wilder was cheated in this particular instance or whether or not Vasily Lomachenko was cheated like he said with his, or like he believed may have happened with his scoring, right? We can all disagree. We can all find circumstances where we don't agree with whether or not, whether or not somebody has cheated or not. But almost everybody in the sport of boxing, whether it be a fan, somebody, you're a boxer or whatever, all admit that it is something that is very serious and something that is rampant in the sport of boxing, be it steroids or what have you, right? Thin gloves or whatever. Now, for me, no doubt about it, Tyson Fury symbols pretty much everything that is wrong in the sport of boxing for me. Not gonna lie, man. Pretty much everything with steroids. Yep, tested positive for steroids. Funny refereeing. Yep, seen that. Right, just a lot of stuff about Tyson Fury just does not sit right with me. So but at the same time, I have to say that I'm kind of with Bernard Hopkins on his stance regarding this water thing. Now, what is that? Tay Jones, great guy, had come out and said months before Deontay Wilder actually mentioned himself that people believe that Deontay Wilder's water might have been tampered with, and that is what caused him to have, to be fatigued, to be tired. A lot of people just felt like there wasn't something really wasn't right with him in the ring, right? That a lot of that stuff revolved around conversations around that pointed to whether or not, somebody tampered with his water. So Marcus Villegas asked Bernard Hopkins about it. And now I'm somebody that really does believe that Tyson Fury cheated in that fight. I don't have any doubt about it. I can see it. I saw it 100 ways from Sunday, man, especially with the gloves. It's just the gloves, the headbutt, the wrenching of the neck, all that stuff. It's just really out there, really, really obvious, right? But when I heard about the water, my first reaction was, don't do that. At least not in a scenario where you're able to just like pull out your proof, right? And I don't doubt at all that he has it. And that would be the toxicology reports. He went to the hospital after the fight. If he felt like something was wrong, they would have drawn his blood. Right, and then they know now what specifically to test for. They may or may not be able to find it, right? And if he has that, he has that. But that's not something that had been released to the public. So my take on it was, look, man, that's overkill for me. Like, I don't know whether or not somebody tampered with his water or not, right? And to me, the whole water thing was irrelevant because, what is it connected to? It's connected to whether or not Deontay Wilder was cheated inside the ring. Well, I already have something that other things that I can see that clearly show me that he was cheated in the ring. Specifically, that very, very thin glove where you can see his hands popping out of it, right? So for me, I know Tyson Fury cheated in that ring because I could see it in the glove. Unless it is just a beyond excellent Photoshop when it's not, especially since it's already been verified that picture was not Photoshopped by the photographer. So, it's already inside the ring. I'm already 100% sure for me that the guy cheated, right? So I don't need anything else really. Now, outside of the ring, when you talk about whether or not with the water and whether that was, to me, it's kind of like, unless you see the proof of it, I don't know. However, me not knowing for sure, it makes absolutely no difference because I've seen it in so many different, I saw the fact that he was cheating demonstrated in so many different ways. Now, so that's kind of where I'm with Bernard Hopkins, where Bernard Hopkins says, hey, is there any proof? Have we seen any proof about the water, right? And Marcus Villegas said, not that I've known. We've heard some rumors. There's been some things out there. That's very, very, very reasonable stance by both men. Very reasonable stances to take by both men. And I can't have any beef with that. If they say, hey, man, I haven't seen any proof of this water being tampered, cool. Now, seeing as I'm being reasonable about that, I would also, though, demand or ask, right, not require, ask Marcus Villegas and Bernard Hopkins to use the same scrutiny on Tyson Fury and say, hey, Tyson Fury's being accused of cheating. Has he ever cheated before, right? Is there any proof beyond this of him cheating? That's it's the same thing. If somebody says, okay, here's this water issue, hey, you say, well, where's the proof of it? Now, if I say Tyson Fury cheated, then you say, hey, well, where's the proof Tyson Fury's a cheater? And then I'm able to go through ad nauseum things with Christian Hamer, things with I've heard things about the Derek Chisora fights. I haven't actually watched them or whatever, but you see what went on with Deontay Wilder in the first fight with his gloves bopping all over the place. You know that he served a 2-year suspension. My understanding is that he may face another 4-year suspension if he applies for a license in the UK, and the British Boxing Board of Control insist on pushing forward with their investigation of the recanted Martin Carefoot testimony that was related to his 2-year steroid suspension. So there's just a lot of stuff that where it's like, I appreciate what Bernard Hopkins is saying and being not is careful the right word, but where he's being, considerate. He didn't just outright just blow it off and say, oh, there's no way that he could have done that, but just asking for the proof. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If I show you proof, then you should take it, right? If Bernard Hopkins said, hey, where's the proof of this water? Where's the proof of the tainted water? And then Deontay Wilder says, here, Bernard, here is my proof of my tainted water. This is my toxicology report on my blood tests, urine tests, all that stuff. And it said that this was in my system and had been in my system for about this long. So it had to have been in there, gone into my system right before the fight, and, and was still detectable by the time I got to the hospital. Now, if I'm able to show you that, then you should be able to say, okay, yeah, the guy cheated, right? He's a cheater. And I think that would be reasonable. So why not the other way? If I'm able to show you that Tyson Fury has not just cheated Deontay Wilder, but has cheated multiple people, then you should be able to say, well, yeah, it's pretty fairly well established that Tyson Fury is a cheater. Therefore, when it's fairly established that he has a history of cheating, then even when there are things that you can't actually get 100% proof on to your satisfaction, you can still look at him sideways and be like, yeah, but it might just be that he didn't get caught. You know what I mean? Like, he found a way to get out of that, because it's not like Tyson Fury is immune to doing it. You know what I mean? But anyway, I like the conversation with Bernard Hopkins. I really did like the interview with Marcus Villegas. Solid point. I would just hope that what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you ask for the proof and nobody's able to show it to you with the water, then, hey, man, ask for the proof with the gloves, because I guarantee you we'll be able to show you that proof. And then from there, move forward and say what you know needs to happen to Tyson Fury as a result. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. And with that, I'm out. Peace.